The death toll from the shooting incident at the Tavern in Nomzamo informal settlement in Orlando West has risen now to 15. Gauteng Premier David Makhura has conveyed his condolences to the families of the deceased. 9 other people were wounded, 4 of them critically so and are in hospital. Makhura says that the Tavern was operating within the framework of the law.
I want to convey our condolences to the families of the bereaved. These were adults, as far as we know, and I got the assurance that Ndlaluse's Tavern is a legally operating establishment. They were still within their time. The people who were at the establishment are adults who have legally, there were no minors there. Because in Gauteng province, every weekend we crack down on illegal establishments. Through Ukaimulao, actually the provincial commissioner was in Kagiso. At the time he was called and told that there's been a shooting at Nomzamo. He was leading the Ukaimulao team. That's what happens in Gauteng. And the first area of crackdown has been on this illegally established operating establishment where there are children who are admitted, who are not supposed to be in those. They've been shut down. Most of them in Gauteng have been shut down. And so every weekend, the police, we often join them, MEC Faith Mazibuko and I, we often join them in those operations. We are going to continue to crack down on illegally operating establishment. But when you have people who are law-abiding, like the Ndlaluse's Tavern was operating within the framework of the law, they were observing all the regulations, and it's adults in the community, adults who have gathered there to entertain themselves, and a white quantum arrived there full of men who were armed with automatic firearms, were armed with rifles there, and then started shooting indiscriminately. The law enforcement agencies in Gauteng are hot on the heels of the perpetrators of this crime. That's not the only incident. There was another one in Gauteng where 4 people were shot and 2 of them died. A loner just arrived at the tavern. Again, it's a legally operating tavern. And in Gauteng, we want to emphasize that the legally operating establishment where adults go and entertain themselves cannot be a problem. The problem is illegal firearms and criminals who are all out there, and we want to call on the police again. And we, as the provincial government in Gauteng, will always the number of police. And one of the key things that this conference of the ANC was raising was the increase in lawlessness and increase in crime requires an appropriate and full response. The number of police, there are too few police men and women in Gauteng relative to the increasing size of the population. We also want to see more resourcing of the police, but also the organization of the police units, specialized police units to deal with different types of crime, and working with communities. And where they work with communities, well, we're able to ensure that there's no illegally operating establishments. So I can't blame, in this particular case, I can't blame the Shebeen owner or the tavern owner. They were doing everything in accordance with the law. It's the criminals and there must be a crackdown on crime.